Sure, they sell like crazy every year, but EA's annual football games are frequently the subject of criticism for being essentially roster updates. I'm usually on the side defending the games, touting the incremental annual upgrades that almost always improve the games. With NCAA Football 10, there are a few new game modes and features to differentiate itself from its predecessors, but I gotta admit, it feels a lot like last year. On the field, almost nothing has changed from 2009's NCAA football game. The controls are identical both before and after the snap, as is the play calling. There are a few new animations that make the running game a bit more realistic, as well as improved defensive line play and better awareness by computer-controlled linebackers in secondary, but overall, it's very familiar. Luckily, last year's football engine was a solid offering, so this year's minimally improved version is at least as good. Rather than focusing on upgrading the on-field action, EA decided to put their efforts toward the game modes and its online functionality. In addition to standard exhibition games, NCAA Football 10 features a Dynasty mode that's more robust than ever. From the first day of recruiting high school players to the last bowl game in January, Dynasty mode takes you through multiple seasons of running an NCAA football program. Award standings, performance updates, and headlines are available at the end of each week, adding to the college atmosphere, but other than that, it's pretty much just career mode. Mimicking the Be a Pro mode from their NHL series, EA also included the Road to Glory. RTG is a simulation mode where you guide a single player through his entire college career. Starting out in your state's high school championship tournament, you'll need to impress scouts enough to get picked up by the college of your choice, then earn your spot through practice and game time performance. Each week, ESPN sideline reporter Aaron Andrews shows you pictures and videos of that week's highlights and lowlights. This mode is a blast if you want to play as a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver, but can be very tedious for defensive players. You play the downs when your player is on the field, and when you're not, the computer simulates every play. The only real problem is that the AI coaches tend to be extremely conservative and will often call plays that are simply baffling. Running a draw play on 3rd and 14 is never a good idea, no matter who picks the play. Thankfully, as a quarterback at least, you can always set hot routes or simply audible into a play of your choosing. Perhaps the most interesting game mode, Season Showdown, isn't really a game mode at all, at least not yet. The online mode asks you to pick your favorite team, then tracks and registers every win, loss, achievement, etc., and compiles them all to find out which school's fans have put up the most points. This mode introduces sportsmanship points, which give credit to those who play the game the way the real sport is played. Finally, players have an incentive to not run up the score on an opponent, and not to go for it on every 4th down. In addition to the meta game of Season Showdown, it will also include a full online game mode once the real college football season starts. No idea how this will work, but since every other online mode runs smooth and practically lag-free, it's a safe bet that this will too. A few minigames round out the package, but they offer little in terms of reward or fun and will likely be ignored by most. Other than the game's new animations, NCAA Football 10 does not represent much of a step up from 09 in terms of graphics. Player models look nice and stadiums look fantastic, but gameplay can sometimes stall and cutscenes almost always suffer from serious slowdown. Crowds look good from afar and fans wear the colors of their favorite team, but when viewed up close the audience is extremely blurry and muddy looking and resembles games from the early days of digitized graphics like Pit Fighter and the original Mortal Kombat. Likewise, the relatively capable instant replay loses its luster when up-close shots reveal phantom tackles and frequent collision detection issues. Fortunately, on a play-by-play basis, the game looks okay, and none of its visual shortcomings are too glaring. More so than the graphics, what is lacking in NCAA Football 10 is presentation. A college football game should feel different than a pro game, and EA hasn't done a great job in giving the game a unique identity. There are cheerleaders on the sideline, but every team has the same 3 cheerleaders who go through the same 3 animations over and over again. There are marching bands during the pre-game festivities, but with a few exceptions, almost every team's band uses generic marching patterns that spell out win or go team. Even before NCAA Football 10 was released, tens of thousands of would-be designers made use of EA Sports World's online team builder function. This team creation suite allows players to choose from dozens of jersey and pant types and customize them with their own colors, fonts, and stripe patterns, resulting in nearly limitless uniform options. You can even upload your own relatively high-res logos and use them on your team's helmets, uniforms, and stadiums. Once a team is created, it can be shared with the entire NCAA Football 10 community. This means that there is an essentially unlimited roster of teams from which to choose, as long as you don't mind entrusting your next-gen game to a team created by a stranger. It's an extremely robust and fully featured creation tool, and is fun to mess around with even if you don't have the game. NCAA Football 10 isn't going to shock or amaze anyone. It's a by-the-numbers EA football experience with plenty of new online features and a thin layer of college-colored paint over it. That doesn't mean it's bad, just that it fails to innovate in terms of gameplay. At its core, it doesn't look, play, or feel much different than the previous game, but there are enough play options to satisfy those desperate for a quality football experience. The well-rounded online features will keep college diehards happy, but casual fans will probably be better off waiting for Madden 10. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check Gamervision.com for the full text review.